range. Just starts blasting. See, it's working just fine. There's absolutely no problem with that, right? Okay, let's take a look at some AI. I had to change the color of my player because I moved everything to the URP and had to redo some materials. Nothing major. Anywho, so shooter. I have here a mean looking big old bad bitch. She's gonna have a shotgun and she's gonna shoot us. Because why not? And so what I'm gonna do, ultimately, really, I'm gonna copy all of our stuff over. And let's call it Crazy Girl. Crazy Girl, she needs to have a shotgun because that's a Crazy Girl weapon. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. There we go. Shotguns. Let's find a good shotgun. That one, that's a perfect shotgun. So, the AI weapons, it's, again, without having to screw around too much with positioning. Personally, like I said, I like to, we don't need the collider on it, but I like to have an object. I'm going to call this object shotgun, and I'm not going to move it. It's going to literally be at 0, 0, 0, and I'm going to take the shotgun, child it to that, and I'm going to move the shotgun model. Right? Kind of like, we'll probably have to adjust it when we go into play mode, but you'll get the idea. All right, now this thing, if we want to spawn it, we can spawn it in the right hand. We don't have to worry about the position or rotation. Everything just kind of works. So, if this is our shotgun, and it's going to need, we'll give it a muzzle. Actually, I'm going to put this as child as the actual model, so everything just lines up a little better with it. It's not going to matter right now. And I'm just going to drag it out forward. Move this like that, and I'm going to call this one muzzle. Now I'm going to take it out and child it there. The other thing is you could play a particle effect. You could use a particle effect for the muzzle. It's almost a better thing to do, really. Let's see if I have anything. I think I have a couple cool shotgun ones. Like that one's pretty good. What is that, number 2? Alright, let's just bring number 2 in. And I don't need it to loop. That's for damn sure. Stop looping. All of you. Right, so now we have a shot. Now, all I'm going to do is this muzzle, I've already lined up and put in the right spot, so I'm just going to copy and paste its position here. Now I can get rid of the muzzle, but I'm going to change this one. Unpack it. I'm going to call this one muzzle. And that way, if I want to find this thing, I know I have the name muzzle, and I can use that name. Get rid of its whole script that came with it. And there we go. There's a shotgun. So when it comes to the actual behavior, though, right, we have our health. Nothing there changes. Obviously, we need to set up an animator. We have the brain. Right, we have sight testing. So obviously, this has got to be, you know, get child sight. So we can put that in. I don't know why I didn't have those like that before, but I'm sure I had a good reason. Probably not. So actions. right? Now this is really where everything just kind of changes. I said everything else, a lot of it's the same, right? So here we have create followers, the bool test, we have target. Well, we're not creating followers. We're not a wolf. I'm getting rid of that. So we have a target. So we go over here, and in our case, we have the wander. Now I could make a patrol state. We could add that. And then we get a target. And in this is all based on the pack, which we don't have a pack, so that's gone. And this is the attacking that we had for the wolf, which is all based on running around and orbiting and doing an attack, which is gone. We're not doing that, right? We can wander, or we can create a patrol. In fact, we could have that as a variable. Let's clear out some of these variables that we don't need, because we're not the wolf. The run speed, walk speed is probably good. Might use those. I mean, well, if we want to use them, we'll put them in. All right. So if we're going to attack, now I'm not going to bring in a cover system right now. I will do a cover system. Not going to do it in this video because the cover behavior needs its own video. It's a little larger for one, just to add it into the rest of these behaviors. It's not like you just click one button and off you go, right? I think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Fuck it. All right, so we have a target. So we need things to change based on probably our weapon. If we're holding a pistol compared to a shotgun, compared to an assault rifle, compared to a sniper rifle, rocket launcher, whatever the case may be, bow and arrow, I don't know, right? So we need to get our weapon, essentially. So let's get a game object variable called weapon. And in this variable, we are going to have, what are we going to have in there? We're going to have a float. And this is going to be attack range. That's good. And we can have a integer for current ammo. That might be useful. And you're probably thinking, okay, where is this stuff? Now, if we come down here, where's our shotgun? So this guy here, right? Now, we could technically prefab this thing. Not quite yet, but we're going to, right? So this thing would need a FSM. And we're going to give it an FSM. We're going to call it gun. Right? So we know that once we get our target, we also need to get FSM game object from our weapon FSM gun. Oh wait, no, we're just getting ourselves. Actually, no, we don't have to get it. We've already got it. We need to check as null. That's what we need to do. Okay, so is weapon null? Has no weapon. And has weapon. All right. So now we have two different routes we can go. Right? We have no weapon, so we might want to run. Or maybe we're going to go in hand-to-hand combat. Maybe we're going to go try to find a weapon. I don't know. But if we have a weapon, then what do we need? We need to get FSM float. And if we come down to our shotgun, we go into our gun, we can now place some variables, right? We have, let's say, attack range. We have, that's a float. We need an integer for, say, current ammo. We can say max ammo if we want to deal with ammos. I'm going to put these all into the inputs so we can play with them out here. All right, and that's probably good for now. So from up here, those are actions. Here we are. So we're going to get a float. And it's going to be from our gun. And we're going to get an attack range. Oh, we already got the variable. Attack range. So let's get that from the weapon. Right? So, okay, if we have the attack range, now we need to know our range. Right? So let's get distance. Not every frame from ourselves to the target. Nope, not to the weapon, to the target. Distance to target. All right, so we can now float compare. We'll bring that in, and we need to check our distance to target to our attack range. So if distance to target is greater, we are far away. I spelled that crazy. If we're less, you know, in range. And if we're equal, you know, we're still in range. So we have those two things. Now, if we want, if we're far away, we're obviously going to, so we don't want to run to the player, right? It's like not like, you know, we're 80 feet away, we need to get to 50 feet, we're going to run to the player because we're out of range. We want to run towards the player, but we don't want to run at, like, right at the player, to his spot. So what we want to do is we want a vector 3 operator. And what we need is the direction. Right? So we also need to get positions, apparently, because I didn't bother doing that. Yep. We need 2 of those. So we have our position, and we have target position, and we can operate that. Say target position to our position, subtract, and that gets a direction, and then we can normalize direction, move to the bottom, and then we can vector 3 multiply, and we're going to take the direction, and then we want to multiply it by our attack range, and then we want a vector 3 operator, move to the bottom, and we want to take target position and the direction, which is now bigger, and we add them together, and we store target destination. So we can actually do these ones every frame. And now we can set agent destination. So we have the modified version for every frame to move to the bottom. Target destination. That guy. So now we can do that. So this is now moving into range. And this is a range check. And this is a weapon check. All right. So if we're far away, we're moving into range. At the whole time we want to be doing that, we want to also be doing this. And once we're in range, so we don't need the far range, but once we're in range, we can meet up and go here. Now, during this, we need to say, do we have target, right? In this one, because this one we could be in this state for a bit. We don't know. So if it's false, we need to, go somewhere else and do something else. So we're not stuck running at nothing. That would be stupid. Okay, so if we're in range now, we need to, let's do an int compare. Oh, we need to get FSM int. So let's get from our shotgun, we have our gun, we have our current ammo. That could be our current ammo. All right, so that's from our weapon. And current ammo, is it greater than 0? Might as well put that in there too. And in reality, you might even want to do this step prior to all this, right? There's no point in running towards them and then be like, holy crap, I need to load my gun. Might as well be like, oh fuck, is my gun loaded? And then now let's go in and attack, right? So that kind of makes more sense. So if we're not loaded, we're gonna need to reload. All right, so this is a reload and range check. This is ammo check. Okay, so once we're here, we need to start an attack phase. So that's where we're going to want the template there, right? So let's just build a template over here. So what is the template going to do? What are we thinking? Okay, well, we need smooth look at. All right, we have a variable called target. Put that as an input. So we need to look at target. And we can even speed this up a bit and go like 10. Keep verticals good. Finish distance 1 is fine. I'll even go 1.5. And if that's there, okay, we can finish. We are looking at the target. We can now shoot. So this is where we're also going to now need to know what weapon we have, right? So that's also a input. So we need to shoot. So in the weapon, we need to know how often we shoot. We need to know how many bullets we're going to shoot. We need to know the accuracy of each bullet, right? So those are all variables that we're going to have to put on the shotgun that we need to pull off, right? So let's say, okay, so we're just going to shoot. So let's get child of the weapon, and we know it's called muzzle. That's the weapon muzzle. And we can now particle system play. Make the muzzle play with children true. Okay, so we're telling the weapon to play. We should probably get FSM object, not game object, but object, right? Because we're going to want an audio clip called gun sound. Which reminds you, we need to make sure we have an audio source to play this on. Let's put that on our player. All right, so from, I guess we don't have it yet. So on the weapon, in gun, we need gun sound. That's what we'll call it, and we can store that into gun sound. So let's make sure to put that in there now. All right. So while we're here, we might as well do accuracy. And we need, we have bullets. We need the attack rate. And we need an integer for bullets per shot. And let's do another float. So we have bullets per shot, accuracy, attack range, attack rate. No, yeah, we need a float. So let's do, no, let's do an int, because we have attack rate, attack, bullets per shot, and attack rate, and let's say burst length. All right, and we can put all those into the input. All right, so we're building that gun out. All right, so we get the sound. So the other thing we're going to need is get FSM int. So I don't think we got it here. No, we didn't get it here. So again, from, and now I can drag this in because we did the variables there. From the gun, from bullets per shot. Let's do bullets per shot. And that's from the weapon. And now that we have that, we can loop, or even just loop state, it works, and we can do bullets per shot for the number of loops we're going to do. And this will actually sit at the bottom. So what do we need to do? We need to get forward, and I said, now get forward's great. I love get forward. If you don't have it, it's on the ecosystem. Alternatively, we can transform direction. It's the same thing. This one you will have. And we need to transform the direction of, say, the muzzle. Actually, it doesn't even need to be the muzzle. We could literally do, we can literally do the owner. And the local direction, what we want to transform is the forward, right? So this is our AI forward. Now, if you want to do the muzzle and have the muzzle look at them, it's almost a more accurate way, right? So if we remove that and we say look at, and we say the muzzle looks at target, keep vertical, not every frame, And now we transform direction of, make sure to put it underneath, of the muzzle 1. We'll call it the AI's forward since we've already made it. Now I made a special action, and this will be on the GitHub, called offset, or random direction offset. That's what I called it. Random direction offset. And this is a way to do accuracy, right? So we want to use the muzzle. We need an accuracy so let's get FSM float. Let's actually put this one over here though. And again, let's just drag him in. Gun, we need the accuracy. This could be accuracy. That's from the weapon. Alright, so now the accuracy, we just plug that in. And it'll take care of the rest. So we have shot direction. So what do we need to do? We need to, for example, create an empty. We can call this AI shot. And we're going to give this a line renderer. And it has its 2 points. And it needs to be like thin. Right, like 0.08. And we can give it a bit of a color if we wanted to, or a material. Material is probably almost better, but let's just give it a little bit of yellow. And then let's give it some transparency. Oh, don't want that key. Something like that. So this guy here, now all we're going to do is we're just going to prefab him. Like, it doesn't really have any logic. It's just I mean, we should add, I guess, some logic, because there's going to be a lot of them. So we can just do a wait, and you know, a second's fine. And then over here, pooler destroy self. All right, that would mean for how often it's going to end up getting used. It's kind of what you're going to want to pool this. So we'll put it over there, which also means we need a pooling system, which I think I have something, don't I? Yeah, there we go. So pooler, pool, we'll just call this shot. Drag this in, and we'll say can grow, call it good. All right, so over to our player, or to our, this thing. So we're gonna want to pooler spawn a shot, right? And we could do weapon muzzle here, and we're going to store this as a shot effect. Actually, the spawn point really doesn't matter on that, right? So we also now need to get position for one of them is the muzzle, right? That's a muzzle position. And then we also now need to use this direction, right? So we have this here. We have shot direction. So if we vector3 operator, and we take the shot direction, oh, we don't want to do that quite yet. Vector3 multiply. Let's multiply it first. So how far do we want this thing to go? And we could say, you know, whatever. We'll default it to 50. And you'll see what this is in just a second. All right, let's move all this down. So we get our position, we multiply it. Now we take the shot direction that we just multiplied and the muzzle position, we add them, and we get line start. No, line end. Sorry. Oh, this needs to be up here. Can't multiply shot direction if we don't have a shot direction yet, can we? Right, so we have that set up. Now, I'm going to do a get component. So I find this easier to do personally. This way is if I make a variable over here and we call it, well, it has to be an object type. And it's object type of Unity engine line renderer. There we go. So we want to get component of shot effect line renderer, and we're going to call method. Oh, it disappeared. Happens to me sometimes. On line render. Let's see if I can do it. It keeps doing that. All right, I'm going to delete that and bring this in. Now it went to the top. Like, really? Aha, there we go. Too bad we need two of those. So we need to set position index 0 to the muzzle position. Copy and paste it after. And we need to set position of 1 to line end. Now we can loop state. Move that to the bottom. Make sure things didn't delete on me. 4 bullets per shot. And of course this has a finished event. All right, so now that is a lot of actions. I totally get that, right? But all we're doing is we're telling the muzzle to look at a direction. We give the direction some offset based on accuracy, and we create a line renderer and we shoot. Now the other thing that we want to do to go with this is to actually damage the player, right? So we also need to raycast. And we need to raycast. I'm going to do it after the random, but before the multiplier. We're going to raycast from the muzzle, the direction. We're going to use shot direction. And again, we can do this. I'm going to put it at 50 so it matches that thing. This is actually world space, and we can store hit object. And let's probably, and let's, where's our player? players on player layer. So let's set that to just use player layer for now. Now, if we want to do damage, we need to do this on a... Alright, I'm going to do a slight change. We're going to change that loop state to just loop. Almost the same thing. Right, bullets per shot. There is one difference, is that we can use multiple states. Right, so on the loop, we're going to go over here. And then I'm going to take this loop state out. So on the loop, we go over here, and then if we finish, we can come over here. Now, the difference here is if we hit. And if you actually, if you use Raycast 2, then we also have the non-hit event as well. Right, so, all right, same spot. World space, distance of 50, direction is shot direction from the muzzle, and we have a hit, and we can use the no hit. Get rid of the finish. I guess we don't need that. And we should put this stuff up. I guess we should put the raycast at the end. Or else its events will cancel out those events. So if it's no hit, we're just going to go over here. If it's hit, we do damage. For now, I'm just going to go back over here. This is the damage. And here, so this whole little section here is the one shot, right? But this will also do, so if we shoot it like a shotgun, we want 10 shots, it'll fire everything. It'll work just fine. So what do? Up here, we can now get FSM float. And we can boop, from our weapon get our attack rate. That's from our weapon. Now we can do a weight. We're going to wait for our attack rate, and we can come back. And then this whole thing, though, is we have to encapsulate this whole thing into one state over here. And that is get FSM int from that. Oh. Burst length. Right, so that's also from the weapon. And then from the burst length, we can come over here, and this one also has a loop. And it is the burst length. Right, so it has loop, and it has a finished. So when it loops, it goes into this guy. This guy loops on bullets per shot. So most guns are going to have one, so it's only going to really do one. So then here, now that we've done our full burst, we can come up here. We have completed our burst. So we can go back to this, but we're going to want to FSM int, subtract FSM int. If you don't have that, that'll be on eco. So we want to subtract from the weapon current current ammo, and we can do, let's say, the burst length. And then we can also wait. Now, this is where we're probably not even a weapon thing. This is almost more of a, I guess, a player thing. So here, if we have a we'll just call it wait time, I guess. And we can say put it to, I don't know, 5, I suppose. And random wait. And let's do 3 to the random time. Again, you can kind of alter that a few different ways. All right, so we finished. So once we're done that, we don't necessarily need to get, well, I guess we do. We need to do the particle system play. So we should almost move that particle system play. All right, because a particle system play would be not so much on the loops on the bullets, but it would be during this loop here, right? Because this is the burst length. So we almost want to just kind of drag this particle system over here. And during the loop, we don't want to put it in here because this could loop depending on the number of bullets you're firing too. We don't want to play a billion frickin' shots. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. I'm just going to put it in its own little state. All right, so now we have that. So we can save that. Now let's make sure we have our variables in the right spots. All right, so we have a target, the wait time, and the weapon. The rest of that is found. Yeah, we're okay. So this is shooting weapon. And get rid of that. Get rid of that. Go into our action. So if we're in range, let's run FSM. Shooting weapon. Who's our target? Our target's our target. We can adjust our wait time. And our weapon is our weapon. Pretty simple. Right, now from here, we can run get FSM int. Current ammo. Current ammo. We could almost put that as an input here so we don't have to get it twice. Not a big deal, whatever. So get current ammo, and we want to compare. And if current ammo is equal to 0, we need to reload. We can say not loaded, or if it's less, it's also not loaded. All right, and we can go up to here. So that, nope, not that one. This one needs to be every frame. That one can be up there. All right. So then we have to do a reload template as well. So for now, let's save that. We should probably build some sort of animator for this little AI person. Right? I think. So we would need, let's create a folder and call it shooter girl, go into there, create an animator, layer, turn off motion. So the animator on shooters is a little different too, right? Because you're going to have a few different things, right? Like you're going to have an attack, but you're going to want numerous layers, right? And this is where animations can really become really useful. So if we create a blend tree and we have blend, let's call this speed, and in the blend tree I'm just gonna put in what did I just say? Rifle animations. We have idle. We have a nice little run, maybe. Whole bunch of walks, looking, grenades. Let's do run forward. Because I believe, now let's check, because we have an animations thing here, which is getting our velocity and setting our speed, which is good. That all matches. Right? And now the ways of the layers, right? We're going to want a layer. We're going to say this is our attack layer. For melee weapons, you don't necessarily need to do it this way, but with rifles, typically you do, because you want to be able to, say, shoot and run at the same time. So put the weight up, and I'm going to put an empty state, and then of course another state, and it's going to go from an any state. It's a lot of state saying there. And this one's going to need let's say a shoot once, or you can say shoot grenade if you want to be a little more dramatic, right? Which in our case, if it's a shotgun, that might be a better choice, but whatever, I'm not that worried about it, right? So now we have all right, so now we would need in our actions, in this guy, we need to also set that in there, right? Set animator trigger attack, just like that. And now if we go into the gun, we can see, okay, so we have accuracy. Let's put it to like 5, attack range, you know, maybe 30, attack rate. Okay, bullets per shot, let's do, say, 10 bullets per bullet length will only do 1. Ammo can be that, max ammo can be that. Attack rate is maybe 0.75, but there's also that wait time in there. Do we have a shotgun? Rifle, pistol, semi. There we go. There's a shotgun sound. Right, so now we have a bit of a shotgun sound. So the only thing we need here is in the actions. Let's put the weapon into here as well. What is our weapon? Our weapon is this. And now we can change this procedurally so that we can swap weapons around, right? Oh, yeah, of course. Can't see them because they're on that. This person needs to be on the default layer. For how I have my camera set up anyways. You probably don't need to do that, but so that they should be seeing us there for sure. So let's check this out. We never did find that site object. It wasn't found. Probably because I never actually made it. How about that for apples, right? That would probably help. Oh, we got to make sure that's turned off on play on awake. Okay, now it has sight. All right, so let's fix that up. Let's get into here. And this whole thing needs a way out, right? Like when we're finished out of this loop, we don't go up to here. Oh, well, I guess we do. Attack rate. Okay, well, this has got to come into play, and so does that.
Dad, so can I play Minecraft?
Yes. And that's got to come into play. All right, so this comes right up to here. This one here, I don't know, we really don't need to get this stuff every single cycle. But we can do the smooth look at and come down here. That might make a little more sense, a full loop. All right, so we have that. Let's go into our AI. Where did we put AI shot? So let's make a material. We'll call it bullet. And I am going to take this shot and just stuff it down in here. There you go. There's the bullet. And I'm going to take that bullet material. We're going to say specular and transparent. Give that one a little bit of color and bring its alpha way down. All right, so we have that. Audio play. Okay, so the shotgun, here's something else we need to fix, is on this guy. The play on awake, turn that off. We don't want that. Definitely a few things we need to fix. I think accuracy, like I have it at 5. I'm gonna bring this down to like 0.12. I think I just had the accuracy just way too high. And let's go. So looking at it, I think get rid of these agent stops. And instead, I'm going to put in an agent reset path. Right? Yeah. Okay, right there. And that will prevent them from doing that sort of thing. So the other thing we want to look at is, if we're looking at it, and we're going to want to copy that. So we loop, we play. Oh, the other thing we want to do, I guess, is audio. Audio play. And do we have the sound yet? Come sound, because we should be getting that over here, right? Yeah. So we can play the sound. And we loop. So in here during the attack rate, that's where we want to bring this over. Pretty much any kind of thing where we're waiting, where we're going to be sitting in this. Don't need the finish event on it. Or we have a wait time. let's see. And then one of the other things I noticed is on the bullet, because it's affected by light. It's kind of odd. I mean, we could give it an emissive if we wanted to. Or we can change it so it's a unlit material, so it's not affected by light. Oh my god, what's happening here? That wait time is pretty crazy. So the gun is still it's sitting high. It needs to be adjusted, obviously. Now we don't want to mess up our position, so what we want to do is, yeah, the actual model, we want to adjust that, which means we'll have to adjust the muzzle for it as well. Something like that. Okay, I'm going to copy that, paste that value in. Now, because of the muzzle, because I moved it out of it, I'm going to actually move this so it's lined up back with this gun. I mean, you always could keep it there, but then you gotta remember we're trying to find it by name as well, which, I mean, we always could make it as put as a variable, which would be fine. Alright, so we go into the actions, and let's bring this down. I think 4, and that 3 to 4 I think is a little long, a little excessive. Right. So the other thing is, if we look at the bullet, let's bring this on this guy here. If we actually add a key at the end, bring this value to 0, take this value, let's bring him down to like half that. Just seems big. And let's see what that looks for size. It's not bad. It's still a little big. Still a little big. So I'm going to bring that down some more, 1/3 of the size. And bring that over there a bit. I want to adjust the rate at which he's firing at. That wait time, I'm going to bring that down to 2, which means we're going to get into here, because I set this just to a value. Right, so I'm going to bring that down to a 0.5. So it's a little bit of a randomness, but it's not full randomness. And then that should make her be a little more aggressive as she attacks. Size-wise, might have been a little small by a bit. She must be reloading. So let's bring this up just a smidge. could go a little farther. But you know what I'm thinking I'm going to do? In here, when we have that weight, I'm actually going to bring this down to like a 0.2. And then I want to set color. See if this will allow me to do this. Color every frame. Color interplate. Let's go from 2. Let's go from a yellow to a yellow, but 0 transparency. Let's see if that kind of maybe sets that up a little better. And when it's done, oh, then it can go over here. Might have to take the emissive off and give it a. Well, that's not too bad. All right, so that's getting better. So, okay, so our player, if we look at our player, we know we have health. We can add that part in now, right? So we have damage, and we get event int data. So we're just getting an int, and we're doing our health. Our health, we have like 50. So let's do. Let's random int, and let's set int data, and let's send event. Need those 3 things. So let's do, I don't know, say 2 to 6, since we have like 10 shots. And this is going to be our damage. Set int data, damage, send event to hit object, health, the event, damage. There we go. That should allow for that. So now if I look at the player, I should have health dropping. No. Are we hitting the player? We should be hitting the player. I don't see why we can't be hitting the player. Blasting a freaking shotgun at them. Alright, so looking at this, I think here, because we don't want to shoot instantly, we're going to want to look at them. Right? We don't want to just fire off without, you know, facing them. Here, you know, looking at this, you know, one thing one critical thing I thought why we can't damage, store hit object. I didn't add it when I added the raycast too. That should fix that. I think that's all that was. Right, because if we look at the player now, health-wise, I mean, we took a crap. We're already at negative 20 health. Our camera's died. We've died. That is it. We are toast. So, in that aspect, it is, I think, pretty good. Just forgot to add in the one little variable there. So here we have these. We also want a parameter here. We'll call it reload. And I'm going to come from here. We need a reload. Something like that. I mean, that's not a shotgun reload, but whatever. We'll make do. Now, I'm going to come off of the any state for this one to reload. And here, if we reload, we obviously need to do something, right? We'll need another FSM template, right? Because what we need to do is get FSM int from the shotgun for the max ammo, and this is going to be on a input of the weapon, right? So we can get it from above. And then we are going to want to set animator trigger, reload, to which we can also, in here, add another variable, an audio clip, reload sound. Stick that out there. Back into our template that we're making, and we can now get FSM object from the shotgun, reload sound. We need a variable to store that into. Reload sound. You know what? I'm going to put a tiny little wait, I think, at the start of this one. Not long, just enough to. Oh, not a random wait. Just a normal wait. Because I don't want anything to be interfering kind of with all this fun stuff. Alright, so we're going to do the reload sound. We reload, and then we are going to set FSM int to current ammo to the max ammo. That's of the weapon, and we want to wait. It's going to be a brief moment of time, and we can probably put in, I should almost make this a variable, reload time, and that can go to a finish, and here this can be finish FSM. And reload time is going to have to come from this guy, so this guy needs another variable. Float, call it reload time. Put that as an input. So this needs to get FSM float. Move to the top. we go. Now we can save that as reload weapon. Let's delete that one. Go up into our actions and run FSM to reload weapon. The weapon can be the weapon. Finish. It will go to a finished state, and we'll go back over here. And did we do an audio play? Oh, I've got to make sure to make those proper things. No, we did not do. Audio play. Oops. Whoops. Messing that up. The reload sound. There we go. Now if we look at oh, crazy girl, she shoots. She just killed us. Oh. I guess it would help if we actually gave that reload time a time. Let's give that a 1.25. See, if we want, we can up that a bit if we felt like it. All right. That time needs to be a little farther. So, if we were now to take her, put her way out here, she's wandering around. Oh my God. See how she's trying to move in now? We haven't adjusted her speed or anything. She should be firing, so let's take a quick little look at that. Because she's in here, and we're not doing any of this by, we're not getting the distance every frame. That's gonna, we need to fix that. Those need to be by every frame. I'm going to bring the shotgun's range down though. Let's go like 15. And so she's trucking along at us. We get within a range. She starts blasting. Dear Lord. Alright, so that's working pretty good, I think, overall. Might need a few odd little tweaks. So, that's good. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to alter this just a little bit, though. I'm going to bring the muzzle in as an object. I'm going to put the muzzle in like that, and that way I can keep the muzzle down here. I think that's going to be easier for replicating, because then we can just go into here. And when we want to say we're not going to get the child anymore, but now we can get FSM game object instead of Playmaker Playmaker. It's because it's a whatchamacallit. You know, those things. There we go. Let's get rid of that one. There, that will be, I think overall a better choice. And now if I want to swap over and say do a assault rifle, it's a pretty easy change. See, and everything there still works, right? So if I come down now and I say shooter girl, let's make the shotgun here, and then I'm gonna unprefab this one. Whoop. And let's just delete that, and let's grab some sort of assault rifle. Oh, you know what? I messed that up. Let's just reverse some of that. Let's grab his transform so we don't have to redo that. That would be smarter of me, right? Because now I can just paste that transform. It goes in the right spot. And even then, might need to just adjust it a little. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it is in a good spot. Maybe just like that. So, I mean, but it needs its muzzle now, right? So let's find a nice muzzle that matches that kind of gun. I think maybe 4. Yeah, let's go with 4. Right, so let's add that. Now in this one, we're going to want to get rid of that script. Take those, not loop, not play and awake. See, now we can change this one to assault rifle. And we can even prefab this one, but we'll set some of these up first. So let's bring the accuracy up a little bit. And by up I mean down, and number wise. Attack range, maybe this one's like a 22. Attack rate 0.05. Bullets per shot, we're only going to shoot 1, but we're going to shoot 5 bullets. We'll have a clip of 30. Reload the muzzle. There's your muzzle. Well, I never put a reload sound on the shotgun. Right, let's go with semi-auto. Yeah, something like that. That'll work. Not quite right, but we'll get the idea. Right, so now let's get into our weapon. Well, I guess it's already set here. But I'm going to prefab this weapon now as our assault rifle. Right, so now I can very easily make behaviors for her to swap weapons if needed. Oh, that's not very fast. So let's fix that up. And the damage on that particular weapon is going to be complete crap. All right, do we have damage here? So let's fix that up. Actually, I don't know if we put damage on the shotgun. I think we just kind of randomly gave it damage. All right, so let's see. Yeah, we just gave it damage. So these should be coming from variables in here. So we shoot, we have 1 bullet per shot. We come up here, we get the attack rate. We do a random weight. That's where things are weird, because when we come here, we want to do the burst length from our attack rate. It's when this guy's done that we come up here. I mean, you could subtract bullets every bullet. I mean, which is normally what you do for the player. I mean, for the AI, it's not as critical, right? I mean, we're not going to be as harsh on the AI as we are as the player. I mean, if you only got 4 bullets left in your chamber and you want to shoot 5, I mean, do you really want to put in a pile of logic, be like, no, 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 you can only shoot 4, not 5 this time, right? But now we're doing bursts. Just had that one little thing I had to. Right, so I mean, very, very easy change, because now we can just make these weapons. Now the only thing we got to add in is fix that damage up, right? You know, and then it's just a matter of adjusting, like how fast we want those attacks to be, how accurate we want those to be. But overall, I mean, it's pretty good. Like I said, on here, let's just very quickly add. Oh, not our item. Let's add an int called damage. Stick that out here, right? This is on the shotgun, so we can say we'll say 4 per pellet, and then over here, save that. On the assault rifle, let's also add a int for damage. Maybe this one's going to be like 12. I don't know. Put it however you want it, I suppose. It really doesn't. Entirely up to you on that end. So we're going to go over here. Go into this guy. So when it comes to the actual damage, let's get FSM int. Move this to the top. I'm going to select, well, I guess it's not going to work because we're in a template. Oh, it is going to work. All right then. Well then, never mind. I'll just shut up. Right, so now we have damage. And that's going to be off the weapon. So if we want just the straight damage, you could totally do that. If maybe we want to give it a bit of a range, right, we could, we could take an operator and we could say, okay, we're going to take damage and we're going to multiply it by, 1 point. Oh, I can't try. I guess we're dealing with int, so I'd have to convert it to a float. All right, so let's go with 2 and call this the high. And I guess we only need one of them. And now, random int.
No more water.
And we can go from, say, our damage to the high, and then we can store it as damage again. We can just reuse it. And now, the damage in here is actually our minimum damage, right? So the damage can be. Did I not put that into an input? No, because I'm silly. All right. Right, so this damage is now the minimum, and it can be as high as double that. So I'm going to cut this one down. right? But now it is you know, some randomness to it, right? So our damage here is 4. I'm going to cut that down to a 2. And let's bring over our, actually I don't need to bring our, well, yeah, maybe I will. Let's bring our health out. So I did have a HUD showing this stuff, but I apparently deleted it during one of my videos and I totally forgot about it. Right, so now we have, okay, we have 50 health. We set their damage to, I said 8. Oh, yeah. So anyways, there we have some shooter AI. Now it's on the basic side, but it's mainly focused on how do we set the guns up, how do we, you know, do the shooting portion, I guess you could say, right? Because we have the weapon checking, the ammo checking, the reload, and we could actually all put this into one template as well if we really wanted to, right? Which, you know, might be a good idea, right? And it's really easy to do because you can literally copy this. Now these ones have templates in them, but you're allowed to do templates inside templates, right? So if I paste that and set this as a start state, delete that, save as template, ranged combat, right? We can now delete that. And if we come over to our actions, other than, you know, coming down and doing all this, we can now just run ranged combat. And we still have, okay, our assault rifle, which is, you know, our weapon. And then we can actually get rid of all this. So this is our ranged combat. Now, we still need to obviously do things for this, right? Like, see, like this one still has its, everything's still set up the same. Like everything is good. You can run templates inside templates, which is really cool. Now, we still need to figure out what we want to do with if we have no weapon, right? And we could adjust some speeds when we're moving. But during this, we can now turn around and say, okay, well, let's add in some cover behavior and some other things, and we can really expand on this one really good. But I'll even show you this. So we're literally just set to use a template of a few actions and a bunch of templates. And as you can see, it's working just fine. There's absolutely no problem with that, right? So it's a very, very, very easy way to maintain this being just clean, right? We have right now a wandering system, which we'll have to build maybe a patrol system or whatever, but we have our ranged combat. All in just one action, technically. Poof, just like that. And we can expand on this. But that's all I'll do for this video. We're just setting up how we set that up, right? Now we need to, okay, how do we change weapons? And let's add some different behaviors in another video.